Home sweet home. Anyone can buy a house or land in Germany, but you have to be in Germany to do so. Welcome to YD. Why do Germans do things the way they do? If you want to buy a house, flat or plot of land in Germany, there are a few things to bear in mind. Firstly, the good news is that there are no restrictions in principle. It is therefore not reserved for German citizens or EU citizens. However, every acquisition must be entered in the land register, Grundbuch. Such transfers and records are known from both ancient Greece and ancient Rome. The churches had long kept records of their possessions, and the Domesday Book of 1086 by William the Conqueror has records of all his possessions in England. The Cologne Schreinsbücher from 1130 onwards are the oldest German precursors of modern land registers. From the 30 Years' War onwards, the land register, or at that time, official registers, became established throughout the empire. The land registers are kept at the local court, Amtsgericht. The electronic land register has been existent since 1993, allowing notaries and banks to access it online. Access to the land register is only possible with a legitimate interest. For example, you have to prove that you are interested in buying the property. In addition to the owner or owners, rights and debts are also entered in the land register. If you have a mortage, for example, this debt is noted in the land register as it's whether someone has a right of way or a right of first refusal. Every purchase contract for a plot of land or property, such a house or apartment, condominium, must be notarized by a notary and then entered in the land register. The buyer and seller must both sign by hand in the presence of the notary, who must first verify the identity of both or all of them, which means valid official identification with a photograph, such as a passport or identity card. Both the notarization by the notary and the entry in the land register are subject to fees. In addition, there may be a broker's fee and land transfer taxes of between 3.6 and 6.5% of purchase price are due. The buyer pays the land transfer tax. The costs for the estate agent, notary and land register are either shared or the contract specifies who pays this or certain parts of it. Let's take a look at a few costs for land. To do this, let's go to 3 cities of different sizes in different regions of Germany. Rottweil is a small town with a good 25,000 inhabitants in Baden-Württemberg, around 80 kilometers from Stuttgart and Zurich. Rottweil has a railway station, 13 city bus routes and a small airport. The Roman settlement, Arae Flavia, was founded on the site as early as 73 AD, and Rottweil developed into an imperial city in the Middle Ages and remained so throughout the Hohenstaufen period. The Kreis district of Rottweil is based here. There are all types of schools and hospitals as well as nursing schools. The world's second highest test tower for lift systems is located here. Apart from this, the carnival in Rottweil is widely known. The Rottweiler dog breed takes its name from the town of Rottweil. Leipzig is the largest city in Saxony with a population of just under 620,000. The first settlements around the year 900 were Slavic. Leipzig was granted city rights in 1165 and quickly became a trading center and trade fair city. The university was founded in 1409. After Berlin, Leipzig has the highest proportion of people with a migration background in Eastern Germany. Leipzig is an independent city with one of the busiest railway stations in Germany, trams, a nearby international airport, all types of school, universities and university hospital and several other hospitals, theaters, an opera house and a zoo. The city is crisscrossed by rivers and canals and has several first-class sports clubs. Rugby and hockey also have a long tradition here. Indoor Hockey World Championships and European Hockey Championships have already been held here. Leipziger Allerlei takes its name from the city of Leipzig. Hamburg is a city-state in the north of Germany and has almost 2 million inhabitants, almost 40% of whom have a migrant background. The proportion is about twice as high as in Leipzig. The first settlements date back to the 4th century, while the eponymous Hammerburg was built in the 8th century. Its rise as a trading center and port city became in the 12th century. It became a member of the Hanseatic League, was famous for breweries and coffee roasters, and has the largest harbor in Germany and the third largest in Europe. As the second largest city in Germany, Hamburg has a railway station and international airport, city and underground railways, universities, theaters, operas and musicals, all types of schools, numerous hospitals, and the whole world in miniature Wunderland. The Hamburger takes its name from the city of Hamburg. If we now take a look at the prices for building plots ranging in size from 900 to 1000 square meters, using the listing on Immobilien Scout 24, we can see big differences. In Rottweil, I had to extend the radius to 30 kilometers to get any current offers at all, but the properties cost between 125,000 and 300 to 400,000 euro. In Leipzig, prices are around 250,000 euro, but can also go up to just under a million. Some can also be lower. In Hamburg, prices start at around 500,000 euro, but can go up to 1.5 or even 3.25 million euros. Let's calculate the incidental purchase costs for the notary and the land register entry for a few plots of land. If you purchase a property for 125,000 in Rottweil, you will have to pay an additional 1,088 for the notary and 490 euro for the land register entry. If you take out a mortage on the property and register it in the land register, high fees will be due depending on the amount. If you buy the property from Leipzig for 250,000, you will have to pay 1,927 for the notary and 842.50 euro for the land register entry. This sum of 2,770 rises to a total of 3,690 if, for example, a mortgage of 200,000 is registered. And if you buy the property in Hamburg-Blankenese for 3.25 million, the notary will receive a good 19,000 euro and a good 8,000 will be due for the land register entry. In case 2, this would rise to a good 23,000 for the notary and just under 11,500 for the land register entry if, for example, a 2 million mortgage were to be entered. The estate agent's commission is regulated differently and also varies depending on federal state. It can be freely negotiated but must be within a customary local range. In Baden-Württemberg and Saxony, this would be 7.14%. For property worth 250,000, this would be 17,850 euro, which would probably be paid in equal parts by the buyer and seller. For anyone who commissions an estate agent from abroad to find a house or plot of land may also find that the seller, who may have enough other interested parties, does not want to pay 8,925 euro and may have to pay their own estate agent in full. On the other hand, some estate agents will say that the seller can instruct them but does not have to pay. In Hamburg, in our villa neighborhood, 6.25% of 3.25 million would be just under 200,000 euro in brokerage fee. Then there is the land transfer tax, which is 5% in Baden-Württemberg and 5.5% in Hamburg and Saxony. So let's do the total calculation. In our inexpensive property in Rottweil for 125,000 costs at least 132,828 euro 85 with a broker just under 9,000 more. So-called ancillary purchase costs. For the mid-range plot in Leipzig for 250,000, it is at least 266,520.30 and possibly another 13,750 for an estate agent. And if you're thinking of buying a luxury property in Hamburg for 3.25 million, you will have to pay at least 205,856.30 in incidental cost without a real estate agent and just under 180,000 more with a real estate agent. Anyone who does not have this money on the high edge and has to finance a purchase, for example, has a mortgage on the property, will have slightly higher notary and land register costs. These ancillary purchase costs should of course be available, because while the land or house represent an actual value on which you can take out a mortgage, the ancillary purchase costs are gone and would make the loan unnecessarily more expensive. Depending on how long the loan runs, of course, how secure you are as a borrower, interest rates are roughly between 3.5 and 4.5%. After peaking in the beginning of January 2024, interest rates will fall again. 5 years ago, the German government was criticized for the fact that the property market in Germany was a paradise for criminals who could launder their assets by paying cash for a property purchase in Germany. But this is no longer so easy, thanks to the Sanction Enforcement Act 2 and the Money Laundering Act, which was passed at the end of 2022 and has been enforced since April 2023. In addition to cash payments, cryptocurrencies or precious metals are also prohibited, but an honorable buyer has not done this in the recent decades anyway. The money is usually transferred. There are also notary escrow accounts for this purchase, Notar Underkonten, as we have seen the list of notary fees. The money is then first transferred to the notary, and only when the purchase is complete does the seller receive the money. I hope I have been able to give a brief overview of buying property in Germany based on the 3 cities. You can see that there are more expensive or cheaper properties in every city, but prices are generally higher in large cities. Incidentally, here is a video from last year that looks at the cities of Munich, Aachen and Salzwedel. The next video in a month's time will show the rights associated with building a property. Questions, requests or comments in the comments. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.